welcome. And if you're new, my name is Michelle, so I'm thrilled to have you. So I have been on a 100-day health challenge, and yesterday, Tuesday, was the 100 day. So I have been sort of reassessing things, looking at my wins, looking at my struggles, figuring out where I'm going to go from here. But I wanted to talk to you in this video about all of those things, and in particularly what I've learned and what I've been able to be consistent about. So thank you for joining me. So the 100 days went really fast. I remember when I started this journey, let's see, it was December 16th, and I decided I was gonna hit the ball rolling, get a head start on the first of the year. And it seemed like it was going to be such a long journey, and now it's over, and it just seems like it was a flash. There has been some things that I've really been surprised about, some things that I've been really happy about, and I'm thinking I didn't meet all of my goals, but I certainly met a bunch of them, and I learned a lot along the way, and I feel like I'm right where I need to be. So this journey is going to continue. After this 100 days, I'm going to do, I don't know if there'll be weekly videos, maybe every 2-week videos on my updates. My goal overall was to lose 100 pounds, and so I am now 22 pounds down. That's what I lost in the first 100 days. And, again, I would have loved to have had, been down 35 pounds or something, but certainly 22 pounds is a great start, I feel like, and we're just going to continue with that effort. So 78 pounds more to go, and I'm looking forward to what that journey is going to look like as well. So in talking about some things that I really wanted to hit on this time, were things that I was amazed about, and things that I was really proud of myself about. So one of the things was that I've been very consistent on creating a 50-50 plate, taking a picture of it, which seemed really silly at the beginning. I thought, who on earth is going to care about my 50-50 plate? But what I realized is it was holding myself accountable. If I knew I had to take a picture of that plate and then post it up to the website, then that was just another accountability tool for myself. So, I think just knowing that I was going to do that on a regular basis was very, very helpful to me. I used, let's see, what else? I used the calorie density formula that I learned about early on, and that is where not every calorie is the same. And if you are looking at a pound of fried foods and a pound of vegetables, obviously the fried foods are gonna weigh the same as the vegetables, but the calorie density is gonna be much higher. And so swapping out some of that, even if it's just taking half of that plate of fried food and putting in some vegetables or fruit or something like that, will reduce the calorie density of the entire plate. You're still eating the same amount. So I really did not feel deprived, and that was one of the things that I was the most amazed about this whole thing. When I did stick to that formula, I wasn't hungry. One of the keys in that for me was starches. Now I know that everybody's afraid of carbs, and that's been a real sticking point for a lot of people. But when I read Dr. McDougal's The Starch Solution book, and he talked about how simple starches are things that your body needs. And if it's not a carb like a big loaf of bread versus whole grain rice, for example, those two things work differently in your body. And so sticking with the whole grains, rice, potatoes, starchy vegetables, I ate a lot of squash, I ate a lot of sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, and using that to fill yourself up with very low calorie density compared to the other carbs that I was thinking that I used to eat, like the donuts and the breads and the rolls and all of that kind of stuff. Very, very different reactions in your body. Those you'll be hungry very soon. And the rice and the beans and the the other starches filled me up and kept me satiated through until the next meal. One of the things that I did incorporate was to eat oatmeal every day. Not every day, a lot of the days, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. And it's really easy, an overnight oat kind of a thing to take to work or to eat before work. Very, very easy preparation. But those oats, whole rolled oats, kept me much fuller than the danishes or the bagels and things like that I used to reach for. And so just finding things that work for you, where you don't feel deprived. You're not taking away the amount of food that you're eating. You're adding different types of things to fill your plate. So the 50-50 plate is 50% vegetables and fruit. The other 50%, a quarter of that is starch, simple starch, and then the other part of that is protein. So I'm plant-based, so that means beans, lentils, edamame, tofu, things like that. If you're a meat eater, then obviously an animal protein if you choose to, or dairy. So that was one thing that has been huge, that I really felt that I wasn't deprived, I wasn't hungry, and felt like it was a sustainable diet, because I really wanted to look at wrapping my diet around the Mediterranean diet, and that has worked really, really well with the 50-50 plate. So that's the first thing, calorie density, and then the 50-50 plate. The other thing I've talked about in my other videos was reading the book called The Pleasure Trap, and it was really helpful in learning about why it's so easy for us to return to the old habits, even if the new habits are making us feel better. So eating well, exercising, hydrating, sleeping well feels great for your body, feels great for your mind. But when you have a rough day, when you are overly tired, when something has happened, it's so easy to revert back to the old behaviors. And in the Pleasure Trap, it explains to you that our brains are hardwired to seek the most amount of pleasure, to avoid the most amount of pain, to reserve as much energy as we possibly can, and seek out the highest density foods. So it's not the highest calorie density foods, but it's the highest density things that are going to make us full and satiated. And so that's why our brains will allow us to go back so easily, and it's so frustrating. And I've had this battle with my weight my entire life, where I do really, really well, I start to lose weight, people start to notice, and then immediately I'm right back to the old habits again. And so frustrated with myself, and I always felt like something was broken, like it must be something wrong with me. Why are these other people able to lose weight and keep it off? Why are some of my friends able to just eat and stay thin? When it seems like we do the same things. It seems like we choose the same foods. But there is a difference in our bodies. There is a difference in our brains, certainly. But when you're talking about old habits and primal brain, it's just real easy to revert back to the old stuff. And so understanding that has been really helpful to me. When I'm sort of thinking, it's really easy, I've had a rough day, I can just stop and pick something up from the takeout. Much easier on my brain, I'm thinking, than going home and having to cook something. So they talk in the Pleasure Trap book about how to make the good things the easiest choice. So if you create an environment where only in your environment do you have the healthy foods, you have food that's already prepped, food that you really like and enjoy, that's key. If you prep a bunch of stuff in your fridge that you're not going to go to or not going to like, that's not going to be helpful. But if you prep things like taco fixings or spaghetti, or a big pot of really great chili or stew or a soup that you will enjoy, your brain will sort of, you can talk yourself through that process and choose those things instead of the easy takeout or grabbing something in your cupboard. So getting rid of all of that, I'm pointing this way because that's where my cupboards are, but getting rid of and creating an environment that makes the most easiest to make the best choices. Huge. Still a work in progress, absolutely. Another thing that I learned that I've talked about in the other videos as well is the HALT theory. And HALT is if you allow yourself to get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired, your motivation and willpower go out the window. You don't make good choices when you're in those too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired situations if you allow yourself to get to that point. So choose things that are going to keep you full. Always have good things to take with you to the office. Take a banana or an apple or some sort of starch that you can snack on, so that when you come home at night, you're not just starving to death and then you're going to make bad choices. And making sure that you're sleeping well, hydrating well, all of that kind of stuff. We know that stuff. We know that that's good for us, right? But when we get into the situation where we're too much of that, willpower doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You can say, well, I've got, I'm really motivated today. I'm really, gonna hit it hard today. And then something happens and your brain just switches. And so really looking at that and making sure that you're caring for yourself enough to make sure that you don't get into those situations, too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired, so that you can make some good choices for yourself. I'm sorry if you guys hear my washer is going in the background and I should have turned it off. The examples that I want to think about is looking at, the meal prep situation. I don't like to cook, so if I can squeeze in an hour on a Sunday to prep some potatoes and rice or another starch, lentils, something like that, cut up some vegetables, roast them in the oven, or do some sort of stir fry, or make a soup, or something that I can put in the refrigerator and have ready to go. Just cut up greens, cut up celery, something. Just take an hour and do that. And if it's in my fridge and I'm ready to go, and those are the things, and I fix the things that I like and love to eat, then I'm much more likely to choose those. So that's where I'm really focusing now. Creating the environment in your home again. And to cook more at home. That has also been a struggle. I'm getting better at it. As I said earlier, I do not like to cook. And I think it's mainly because I live alone. It just seems like such a waste of time. So it's such a drudgery to me. But the meal prep has really helped if I have something that's already pre-made, or at least some components of something that I can throw in a bowl or throw in a taco, or whatever. So that has been really, really helpful. And just really trying to continue to work on that as I continue on this journey as well. Some wins. My new morning and evening routine has absolutely been a win. I'm looking forward to those times during the day. My weight loss, again, I didn't make my goal, but I'm really proud of and really happy. I mean, I could have gained 22 pounds. So, the fact that I lost 22 pounds, didn't meet my goal of 27, is still a win in my book. So hopefully that will continue. I do feel a lot stronger, and I feel a lot more energy. Now, I am hoping that will still continue to increase as my stamina increases, my activity levels continue. I'm hoping that will just continue to go up and up and up. But from going from an almost sedentary person with no energy, I felt like my life was sort of wasting away on the couch, to doing what I'm doing now and feeling good about that, big change. And so I consider just that a huge win in this 100-day challenge as well. So let's see. Where am I going to go from here? So just continuing to prioritize my health, continuing with the things that I've started, continuing to find anchor habits that I can stack other additional habits on. I'm hoping that I can, now that I've got the 30 minutes a day routine pretty consistently, I'm hoping to increase my steps now. And so, everybody's talking about the 10,000 steps a day. The thought of that when I was sitting on the couch every night was just overwhelming. I mean, I was lucky to get 2,500, 3,000 a day. And so, really looking at that, can I increase my speed on the treadmill? Can I increase my time on the treadmill? Whatever that might be. And then also really focusing the next next going forward is my flexibility. doing some stretching or incorporating some of that, and continuing with I bought some arm weights a little while ago, and continuing with that too, so that I can increase my strength, but increase my flexibility as well. I know that that's key around hip movement, and then also reducing your fall risk. As your flexibility goes down, your increased risk of falling goes up, and so I don't want that to happen as I get older, and so really prioritizing that as well. Let's see. And then really, I want to learn more about the Mediterranean diet. I know that in many countries that eat the Mediterranean diet or a version of that show longer lifespans and much more life quality as they get older. And so I really want to do some more learning about that. There is a fellow named oh gosh, I've forgotten his name, Dan Buettner, and he's been studying the blue zones, which are the areas in the world where people live the longest, and what they do. And he talks about it's not just the food, food they eat is huge, but it's also their lifestyle wrapped around that. So I'm really looking forward to getting his book, a couple of books that he's written, and start learning about that too. So those are my goals for the next going forward. And again, I'm going to continue to update you guys on the progress. I've not done a good job of taking pictures, before and after pictures, and I also realized that I didn't measure myself when I started. So I'm going to start doing that too, so that I can add that to my data reports for you. But I think it's important too. You may not be losing weight that week, but maybe you've lost, half an inch or a quarter of an inch or something on your body. So that's just as important to be doing that. So I will be doing that in the updates as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't go away yet. I'm going to show you some clips of my food that I've been eating, some of my plates, some of my walks down by the river, and then also maybe some cute pet videos too, just real quick. And if you found this video helpful and encouraging, I hope that you'll share it with other people. Maybe even consider subscribing. I would love for you to return and see the updates. I hope that, again, I can be encouraging to people that are on the same journey as I am. We can do it together. And so thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. See you next time.
Okay, so for some of my food, this is some of my overnight oats. Has cinnamon, maple syrup, oats, oat milk, raisins, and a banana for breakfast. Great breakfast, easy, and fills me up and keeps me full for the entire morning. This is rice, beans, and some roasted veggies. This is the same rice, roasted veggies, and beans in taco shells for the next night's dinner. Nice and easy. This is a quick lunch that I made. I already had the potatoes made. I had some plant-based cheese sauce and broccoli. This was my Greek night, so this is a falafel wrap with veggies and lentil soup that was so good, and some tzatziki sauce to dip everything in. This was a couple of mornings ago. I decided to go for a walk down by the river. This is called the River Walk where I live. Isn't this cool? This is the North Platte River, just a couple miles from my house. They've got a great walkway. Bye.